This segment represents a unique opportunity to connect two provinces and quickly generate benefits for travelers, communities, and the economy. Now, why start with this part of the route? Because it is, for several reasons, the most logical option.
Well, the federal government with an announcement today on a planned high-speed rail service between Toronto and Quebec City. In specific, the transport minister saying the first phase of this will be between Montreal and Ottawa. It's known as Alto. There is a big catch here, though. Construction not expected to start until 2029, so we are a long way away. Let's bring in Pascal Chan, Vice President with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. He oversees their Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. Good to see you, Pascal. Thanks for your time.
Good to see you, Todd. Thanks for having me.
You know, this high-speed rail has been talked about for decades, and I'm talking like 40-plus years. I wonder whether you think this is actually going to happen. 2029, that's, 4 or 5 years away.
Yeah, obviously we want to see projects move as quickly as possible. And if you look at Canada's track record over the last few years, you could definitely say a lot of things have been caught up for a long time, especially when you look at port expansions and things like that. But again, some optimism around this, to see this listed as a project that's a priority, and then to have this announcement to say we're expecting shovels in the ground within 4 years. It's something that the minister said is expected to boost GDP by up to $35 billion and create tens of thousands of jobs. So fingers crossed that we're moving in the right direction here.
Let me just tap into your expertise when it comes to transportation and infrastructure. People at home might say, why 4 years? Why not like next year or in a year, 2 years?
Absolutely. And as we said, we want to see quicker project reviews between multiple levels of government, especially Indigenous consultation is extremely important. But removing some of the duplicative efforts that we've seen in the past that have held things up for 10, 15 years without seeing shovels in the ground anywhere near to now is incredibly important. Look, we also know that there's significant rail congestion in the Quebec City-Windsor corridor, both for freight and passenger traffic. In terms of freight, we also saw, and we talked about this in the past, but work stoppage that paralyzed our two main rail networks last year. On the passenger side, 60% of the Canadian population lives in that corridor. So hopefully this is an important first step to deliver towards that larger plan to deliver quicker things and to free up some of the rail network so that we can move our goods as well.
Yeah, this is all part of the so-called big projects strategy of the Prime Minister. I couldn't help but notice that this whole Windsor part was dropped. Now it's just Toronto to Quebec City. What kind of economic benefits does something like this actually bring, Pascal?
Well, I'd say on this side, we often lament the lack of ambition and investment and, frankly, speed. And we were just talking about this when it comes to transportation infrastructure. But if we really want to be able to diversify our exports and increase our number of trading partners, given the trade turbulence we're seeing with our largest trading partner south of the border, we need to see some of these investments that are going to, again, set up dedicated tracks that will free up the movement of goods by rail. And again, with I think $1 billion worth of goods moved by rail every single day, being able to move that quicker and at greater capacity is definitely going to be beneficial to the Canadian economy, as long as we continue to invest in the other projects that are going to be able to help us grow our economy beyond that in other modes of transportation as well that are going to be required.
Pascal Chan with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, expertise on transport and infrastructure. Good to see you, Pascal. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Great to see you.